So good evening, everyone. And let me start off with apologies for getting to the meeting a little bit late. We had a very full agenda in the workshop and some very worthwhile discussions that took a little bit longer than anticipated. So our apologies. But with that, let me say that the October 13th, 2021 meeting of the Long Branch City Council will now come to order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Dangler?
Here.
Mr. Vieira?
Here.
Mrs. Wittes is absent. Dr. Selly?
Yes.
Dr.
Here.
Vogt?
Here. Well, we will now recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the
to the
flag
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one
one
nation, under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
With
with liberty
and
and
justice
justice.
for all.
And now I would like to read the mission statement for the City Council. The Long Branch Mayor, City Council, and Administration are committed to cultivating an environment of mutual trust and respect that values the diversity of our community. We'll strive to enhance the quality of life for all who live here by making Long Branch a desirable place in which to live and prosper. We'll treat all members of the public with respect and expect the same in return. And now if our clerk would give us a certification.
I hereby certify that this meeting has been published in the newspaper and adequate and electronic notice has been provided in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act and the New Jersey Administrative Code Title V, Chapter 39, Section 1.5, Notice of Remote Public Meetings as required by law.
Thank you so much. Reading and approval of previous minutes. I need a motion to approve the minutes of the September 22nd, 2021 meeting.
So move.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Dangler?
Yes.
Mr. Vieira?
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes is absent. Dr. Selly?
Yes.
Dr. Vogt?
Yes. So now we're up to presentations, and we are all thrilled with what will be our presentation by one of our wonderful Long Branch youth in celebration of diversity. And in this particular sense, in this particular time, it is honoring Italian Heritage Month. And so Tristan is going to read for us the resolution that we're going to be passing a little bit later later on in the meeting to recognize October as Italian Heritage Month. And Tristan, welcome. We are thrilled to have you join us. Let me tell folks just a little bit about Tristan. Tristan, you are the first student to be doing this, so we're thrilled for you. So Tristan was born in Haiti in the year 2007. He has two brothers, one sister, 16, 8, and 7 months old. He was born in Haiti, but has been living in Long Branch for his whole life. He currently attends Long Branch High School in the 9th grade. By far, his favorite school subject is math. Yay, Tristan, that's wonderful. And when not in school, he likes playing soccer with his friends or with his brother. And when it comes to books, he likes to read intense sports books. And with that, Tristan, we would love to have you read the resolution now. You just need to unmute your mic. There you go. Welcome.
Wait, can you hear me?
We can hear you, but speak up a little bit louder, okay?
Okay. A resolution recognizing October 2021 as Italian American Heritage Month in the city of Long Branch. In the 5 centuries since Christopher Columbus, the son of Gino Italy, first set sail across the Atlantic Ocean, countless individuals has followed in the course he charted to seek a new life in America. Since that time, generations of Italian Americans have helped shape our society and steer the course of history. During Italian Heritage and Culture Month, we recognize the rich heritage of Americans of Italian descent and celebrate their immeasurable contributions to our nation. And whereas Italian immigrants saw a better life in communities across the nation, including the city of Long Branch, New Jersey, where a distinct Italian enclave formed in the center of the town, which includes many Italian-owned and operated businesses, an Italian Catholic parish, and several multi-aid societies assisting their community members as they navigate through uncharted territories, a new language, and discrimination. And whereas bound the enduring values of faith and family, Italian Americans have flourished in all areas of our public and economic life while preserving the proud Italian traditions. As proud service members, they have also defended the liberty and integrity of the United States since the Revolutionary War. And whereas today, the legacy of these intrepid immigrants is found in the millions of American men, women, and children of Italian descent, who strengthen and enrich our country. Italian Americans operate thriving businesses, teach our children, and serve at all levels of government, and succeed in myriad occupations. Drawing onto the courage and principles of their forebears, they lead and face every facet of American life, dedicating their knowledge and skills to the growth of our country. Now therefore be it resolved by the mayor and the city council of the city of Long Branch that they hereby proclaim October 2021 as the Italian American Heritage and Culture Month in the city of Long Branch, and call upon all Americans to learn more about the history of America.
Tristan, excellent. Great job.
Nice job.
Council President, if I could jump in, Tristan is a good friend of my son. They went through school together from the second grade, and he has a wonderful mom and dad and family, and great job, Tristan.
Great job, Tristan. Good job.
Well done. Well done.
Yep, you started this off right. Excellent. So we so appreciate that. Tristan, you are certainly welcome to stay with us for the rest of the meeting. Most people jump off at this point. It does get a little tedious sometimes, so you are welcome to stay or you are welcome to jump off, whichever one you would prefer to do. And also, our city clerk will be making sure that you get a copy of the resolution. We do it real nice on special paper and a folder and everything to, so that you have it as a memory of participating in the city council meeting. Thank you so much. Would you like to say a few words? You're muted.
I don't really have.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. So we'll move on with our meeting then. And we're up to consideration of ordinances, public hearing and final consideration of which there are none. Ordinances for introduction, again, there are none. So we're up to public participation for resolutions and all general comments. I need a motion to open the public portion of the meeting for all comments.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. If any member of the public has any comment to make, please dial *9 on your phone and a representative will call on you by the last 3 digits of your phone number. When you're called upon, state your name and address clearly for the record. You will have 5 minutes to talk and may only speak once. All comments should be directed to the council president. There will be no cross dialogue during the public portion. After everyone from the public wishing to speak has been heard, any member of the council or the administration may address your comments and questions. While public participation is encouraged and valued, the presiding officer reserves the right to terminate remarks to or by any individual not in keeping with the conduct of a proper and efficient meeting. Will, do we have any callers?
We have a couple hands raised. Caller whose phone number ends in 103. Go ahead.
IT man, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Hello? Yes, we can hear
Hello,
you.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Good evening, council members. Joseph F. Hornick, 583 Cedar Avenue, West Long Branch, New Jersey. I will be giving Ernest McNally permission to speak on my behalf tonight. Thinking about it, what do I have to lose? Since there's more than 4 minutes of my allotted time left, I would appreciate that time is given to Mr. McNally. Thank you, council. I wish you all well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Council President, just for the record, we don't
Yeah.
permit that typically.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, Mr. Hornet, but that is not permitted. So we'll move on to the next caller.
Okay, yeah, I just saw a hand go up and then a hand go down, but let's see here. We have one hand raised at the moment. Caller whose phone number ends in 198. Go ahead.
Mr. IT Man, can you hear me?
Yes.
Requesting 1 minute notification. Vincent Lepore, 33 Ocean Terrace, Long Branch. This evening's agenda, Resolution 240. Item number 8, I'm quoting, in lieu of financial contributions under parking obligations, Section 345-39, H6E of the city's code provides a relevant part, end quote. Then it goes on to discuss the $15,000 per required parking space to go into a fund to be used by the city of Long Branch to construct public parking. It should be noted, when the Jamal application was before the planning board, no one had a clue what I was discussing when I entered Section 345-39 H6E of the city's code on the public record. At first, it was dismissed by the flawed board attorney, only to be raised again by another member of the public, to the point that the planning board meeting had to be adjourned so that the planning board would get its act straightened out. The public knew more than the planning board. I'm requesting resolution be tabled this evening. And if council does not decide to vote and wants to proceed, a no vote is requested. The planning board made a decision on the number of parking spaces, and it was a bad decision because there was no input by the Public Works or the Fire Marshal on turning radiuses required for equipment so as to determine where some of the cars would go. The site triangle was in question as well. The developer wanted planning board approval prior to the city agencies weighing in, which this current planning board seems more than willing to accommodate, unlike the prior planning board. With this project, there will be unquestionably impact parking on already seasonally congested Chelsea Avenue. For reasons stated, again, Resolution 240, no. Next item. Folks, keep in mind Team Palone's campaign promise of no new tax abatements, which they have repeatedly lied about. Well, another developer tax abatement is on the way. Next Monday night, the Seashore School Broadway area is being determined by the planning board to be a declared redevelopment zone. On page 18 of the planning board report, it states, the designation of the study area as an, quote, area in need of redevelopment is consistent with the city's master plan and zoning ordinance, which seeks coordinated development of residential and commercial property, end quote. That's wrong. Wrong, wrong, wrong. It's not the intent of the master plan to have redevelopment zones scattered throughout the city. The new redevelopment zone is by the planning board, intended to qualify the developer for a quid pro quo tax abatement. And don't forget density. But more importantly, on page 15 of this planning board report, it states, quote, An area that has been designated as an urban enterprise zone automatically
warning.
qualifies under the criteria for the purpose of granting tax abatements and exemptions. End quote. UEZ zones allow for a reduced sales tax. UEZ zones do not exclusively award developer tax abatements. The intent of the just said tortured wording is to pave the way for Team Pallone to grant again another quid pro quo developer tax abatement. The backstabbing and lying by John Pallone and counsel on this important issue of the election 3.5 years ago continues. End the redevelopment zones and end the tax abatements. And next May, Team Pallone vote no.
So, Mr. Reno, do you want to respond to that? I mean,
Sure.
in other words, let me just start by saying, Mr. Lepore now is just, he's using tax abatement. Everything he said about a tax abatement is totally inaccurate. There is no tax abatement for this project. But I just don't know where Mr. Lepore is going. Recently, he keeps talking about a 30-year tax abatement at Lower Broadway when he knows that we have rescinded that tax abatement 6 months ago. So I don't know, Mr. Renon, do you want to add to this? It's just, it's really unfair that he just keeps talking out of nowhere to say tax abatements. And by the way, I don't want to get into the, we never said what he said about tax abatements. So what we said about tax abatements is that we were not going to have any more tax abatements on the ocean front. We've said that for years, and he just changes the story. And now he's just saying that we're having tax abatements where there's no tax abatements planned, or talks about tax abatements on Lower Broadway when he knows that we rescinded the tax abatement. It's just, I don't know why he's doing this. Mr. Rayon, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, and by the way, and I have on my screen the section that Mr. Lepore, and of course it's what Mr. Lepore does. He reads half a sentence, and it is a comment in the report that went to the planning board that just parenthetically indicates that urban enterprise zones automatically qualify under the criteria for tax abatements. But then it goes on to say, however, if a municipality seeks to draw on other redevelopment powers provided under the local redevelopment law, it must demonstrate that an area meets at least one of the following criteria. So the fact of the matter is that had nothing to do with, there's nothing in this report that indicates that anybody either asked for or grant or is prepared to grant a tax abatement on this project. So that's just a falsehood. So the second part of it is, and I just want to make clear about the development agreement for the project that is, I guess, Resolution 240. That approval was granted by the planning board in September of 2020, and no appeal was taken. So it's a final unappealable approval before the planning board. All our developer agreement does is memorialize the payments that are required to be made under that agreement. So this isn't, council doesn't have the option of approving or not approving the development. It's just approving the agreement by which we memorialize the obligations of the developer. If you refuse to approve the developer's agreement, then the developer can build without a developer's agreement because they have a planning board approval. So I just want to make sure everybody's clear that this is not one of those things where it's brought to council so that council can be the super planning board and approve and refuse to approve a development because the site triangles aren't corrected or the turning radiuses are somehow not correct. Those are not affected by this agreement.
Thank you, Mr. Renaud.
You're welcome.
Thank you both. Thank you, Mr. Lepore. Will, are there any more callers?
I see that there is one more caller, but I'd be stepping on Will's toes if I did that.
We have one hand raised. Caller
Okay.
whose phone number ends in 350. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, Ernest McNally, 710 Northeast 7th Street, Boynton Beach, Florida. I appreciate the council president saying that things get a little, I don't know what we told the person reading the resolution, or they get a little something during the meeting. I think that's an understatement. And you know why? Because when you all go after people, like you just went after Mr. Lepore, listen, Mr. Pallone and your brother, we know, I went to Star the Sea School. I know what you're doing with Jamal, the developer there. I know people who sat in the meeting when you took that, whatever you want to call it, for that pool you made in a swamp with the mosquitoes, so that certain people would stay in that area, and you let them build all those condos. You know, Mr. Pallone, you should be exposed. You and your brother. Look at your brother now with Gopal, and you making trouble with John Moore, the mayor of all over the county, with Sean Golden and Tom Arnone and Ross LaCitra, and your fake lawyers, Ansel Grimarin and Lamoro Law. You know what you're doing to this county? And you get away with it. Why won't we have an Operation Bid Rig 2? And this time, lock up everybody in Long Branch instead of the deal that John Kay made, right? To keep all your mayor and council from prison like all the other towns went to prison. Why don't you get exposed for this, Mr. Pallone? Like you lied to us when you ran with that heart of yours. All sick you didn't tell anybody. Then you don't go to the debates because you got nothing to say. You were the biggest supporter of Mr. Schneider. And look who's dying in Long Branch. And look who's getting fake, phony World Trade Center pensions. Todd Fighter? You got to be kidding me. Look when the Long Branch people that you put in the paper, oh, they're 9/11 heroes. They went there and they stole stuff. They threatened the people on the ferry to get on when they were told, don't go there. And look at them taking pictures in the firehouse when they got off the ferry. They're all laughing, your guys, like it's funny. Everywhere they go, they think it's funny. Those rotten firemen and cops of yours and city officials, you're all rotten. And I wish I could move home, but I'm afraid. You got everything. You got Superior Court judges. You got the Attorney General. You got the prosecutor, the sheriff, the commissioners, everybody on your side, and all the ex-no-good, rotten officials that are now lawyers. Ansel Grimarin. That's Mr. Operation Bid Rig. Where do you think Solomon Dweck spent half his days? With Zorro in that office. How you and your brother get away with all this is a miracle. You understand miracle, Mayor Pallone? It's a miracle. You're nothing but a troublemaker and a lot of other things. And you keep, when people are finished talking, you go after them. You got some nerve. You got a lot of nerve. You and your brother, troublemakers. Why should someone like me not be able to move back home because I got to worry about a congressman and a mayor and a prosecutor and a sheriff and commissioners? You got to worry. They'll set you up and lie in court. That's what you do. You threaten people. Look at them sending cops from Asbury to my home and hotel with knives and guns. And that no good, rotten Melanie Falco, that interviewers, that sex den in the prosecutor, all humping each other from when Seidel got in trouble. Jackie Seeley, Jennifer Lip. Now you got Melanie Falco. She lets everybody off. You got some nerve. You got some nerve, you and your brother. I hope the feds come in and bust you all. How much time do I have left?
50 seconds.
I don't know. Look what you're doing with this fighter. You're giving him a 9/11 thing, and other people who were there, like this guy Hornick, you won't give a dime. And to get fighter off, because he got caught with grand theft, stealing equipment, fire equipment for 20 years, and gasoline. And look at all the rats he got in that fire department. Siciliano, Guzzi, Moozy, Schmoozy, Doozy, Loozy. And look at, you got the other one you gave $2 million, Raul Aponte. Him and his wife burned up their children. Why don't you tell the public about what you're doing? Covering up for murdering cops, vehicular homicide.
5
and then you
minutes.
got that lawyer of yours now, Renone.
No other hands raised.
Okay, Mr. Magnoli, I would just like to address one of your terms in terms of saying that after somebody speaks, we go after them. We don't go after people. It is a fact checking. It is if information is misrepresented or, excuse me, mispresented, that's why we turn to our attorney to say, what does the record say and how should it be interpreted? That is not going after people, it's just correcting the statements that were made. So just like to correct that term that you're using. So with that, Will, I think you said that there are no more callers, correct?
No other hands raised, correct.
Okay, good, thank you. So Madam Clerk, have you received any public comment by electronic mail or written letter?
Yes, I've received two. The
Okay.
first one is Avery Grant to Mayor John Pallone and City Council members regarding a serious concerns about the use and operation of the Bucky James Center by the Boys and Girls Club as currently being proposed by the city. The reason for this letter is that I have been informed of your consideration for the Boys and Girls Club to use and operate the Bucky James Center. The informants were very concerned about that because they want it to be a true community and family center and available for use by the locals. This is my serious concern because in the past I have expressed my disappointment with the lack of activities for our youth and the community. As an example, the Black Pilots Association has placed 3 electronic flight training sets in the center, but there was no effort to cooperate their use. The pilots informed me and I had them installed in our high school where they are used daily by our Air Force ROTC students. I also helped one student to get his pilot license. Wednesday night at the Greater Long Branch Chamber of Commerce Affair, where I received the Humanitarian Award, I met the director of the Boys and Girls Club and he told me that he was interested in getting a facility in Long Branch. So I introduced him to former school superintendent Joseph Fariana, who had initiated plans for a facility with a swimming pool. My intense involvement arises from the former 2-story wooden Bucky James Center, which the city had decided to demolish because of its deterioration. Jesse Samuels, the city's senior mechanic, and I met with Mayor Phil Hoon, and we were able to get him to allow us to volunteer to renovate the building. And we did such a good job of renovation that Mayor Hoon had a complete kitchen installed, and Bucky James Center became a very active community and family center. My initial involvement with the Boys and Girls Club was many years ago when I was a member of the Monmouth County United Way, and I recommended grant funding for the Asbury Park and Red Bank Boys and Girls Club and for the Red Bank YMCA. I definitely feel that the Boys and Girls Club should provide and conduct activities in the center and that their activity schedule must fit within a schedule for all community groups. Our community groups should have priority. I strongly recommend that you all, A, take no action until you get input from the individuals and community organizations. B, consider having the Long Branch Recreation Department manage and operate the center. C, meet the Boys and Girls Club to develop a compatible activity schedule. D, you all be dedicated and sensitive to the needs of the community and Boys and Girls Club. Sincerely, Avery Grant.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I could respond to Mr. Grant's letter, which I appreciate. First off, let me just be clear that we'll be talking to a lot of groups, both large and small, and we're trying to accommodate as many local organizations that we can. This is going to be a true recreation and community center for everyone. We want to utilize the building every day of the week if we can and if that's possible. We have the opportunity now to accommodate more activities and programs for our youth, for adults, and for seniors, and we plan to do that. Now, and one of those opportunities is with the Boys and Girls Club of Monmouth County to give 50, 75, maybe 100, who knows, of our kids constructive, supervised recreational activities and life skill programs in a safe environment that I think from your letter you're agreeing with. That even includes a daily evening meal, all at no cost to the taxpayers. The Boys and Girls Club, if their application is approved, will utilize one portion of the center, and that'll be from 2 to 6 p.m. on Monday through Friday. As I said, this is a work in progress. Mr. Braynone, you may want to add, we're supposed to take over the center on November 1st. And at that point, we will be, we'll be talking to other community groups as well. But we're just getting started, and we're very excited. We have big plans, and myself and I think for the council are excited about all the programming and activity that we'd like to see at the Bucky James Center.
That's Mary. The only thing I have to add is, as you said, the lease has been signed. The takeover date is based upon the conference that we had today is November 1st, and just to reiterate the fact that there is no turning over the building to any organization, exclusively, and that of course the recreation department and the administration will be responsible for programming that building on an ongoing basis.
Thank you.
Good, thank you. Heather, I think there's one more letter.
Yes, from Honey Burkett. Thank you, Mayor, for having a rain date for the parade. Following are some questions and concerns. When will the council meetings be back at City Hall? Can you give an update for Lower Broadway? Why doesn't the council answer questions directly? Thank you, Honey Burke, lifelong resident of Long Branch.
So I'm also, if you don't mind, going to answer 1 and 3 of those questions. And Lou, if you don't mind giving the update on Lower Broadway. But thank you. We're all glad and happy that we're going to be having the parade. Hopefully the weather will hold up this Sunday. But with regards to when council meetings will be held back in City Hall, again, maybe Mr. Raynoan can add to that. But from what we're told, officially, the state is allowing meetings to be remote until the end of the year. We've discussed coming back on several occasions, myself and the council, which began, I think, back in June or July. But as you know, there's been a couple of upticks in cases in recent months, and the fall, unfortunately, if you look at last year, is when there also tends to be an increase in positive cases. But we'll certainly, I think, start with after the next meeting to reevaluate next month what's going on. And again, our priority is the safety of our residents, but we do look forward to our in-person meetings again. And as a matter of fact, we have an update. As we've said many times, we have periodic COVID updates, and that will be part of the discussion tomorrow. With regards to why doesn't the council answer questions directly? I mean, I believe that we do answer the questions directly. And the important thing is that we want to provide the correct answers. And sometimes those correct answers come best from the administration, sometimes from the city attorney, sometimes from me, and certainly sometimes from members of the city council. As I think Council President Vogt alluded to earlier, we want to give the best and the facts, and we want to give the best information. And whoever is in this meeting, we want that person to give the most up-to-date, accurate information. Mr. Raynoan, can you give us an update on Lower Broadway?
Certainly. The Lower Broadway, currently there is still litigation pending between the developer and the property owner. Not the developer, what was the contract purchaser and the property owner, as the council will recall, and maybe the public also. The city council canceled the redevelopment agreement and also rescinded its approval of the transfer of that redevelopment agreement. The city's been named in the lawsuit. There are motions pending before the Superior Court that are now currently scheduled for October 22nd, though I do have to say that they have been adjourned by the court because of its scheduling issues. But we anticipate that nothing moving forward until at least these preliminary motions are heard and decided by the court. And
again, just to repeat, the 30-year tax abatement that was granted to Lower Broadway has been canceled.
Correct.
Good. Anything else, Heather? Oh, okay. Okay, good. Thank you. I need a motion to close the public participation portion of this meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'll now ask the city clerk, Heather Capone, if there were any changes to the list of resolutions.
No changes were made.
Okay, good. Thank you. We can take the listed resolutions as the consent agenda. I need a motion.
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Dangler?
Yes.
Mr. Viera?
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes is absent. Dr. Selly?
yes,
Dr. Vogt?
Yes. Applications, there are none. So that moves us to the miscellaneous business for the good of the order. And we'll start off with Councilman Dangler.
I'd just like to say, just to please think about the booster shot if you haven't got it already. And if you haven't gotten any vaccines, please consider it, as the holiday season is just around the corner. We do all want to be safe and enjoy our families as healthy as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Dangler. Councilman Viera.
Good evening, and thanks for participating in our meeting tonight. And have a very light. I just want to thank Tristan for being part of our meeting here today, for reading the resolution for Italian. A great job. Good night.
Excellent. Thank you, Councilman Viera. Councilwoman Selly.
first of all, I would like to wish everybody a happy Columbus Day. I'm a day late and $1 short, but that's okay. The wish is the same. And please remember that the parade was rescheduled to this coming Sunday at 1 o'clock, and it starts at the middle school. And I would like to ask everybody, pay attention. Make sure if you have to wear a mask, wear it. If you don't, do your social distancing. And please take care and be safe, everybody.
Thank you, Councilwoman Selly. Mayor Pallone.
I just wanted to add that we have several events and programs going on at the Arts and Cultural Center now. And for those who have not seen the space, we invite you to come by or check it out. Tomorrow night, we're having an exciting event called Una Bella Serata, or a beautiful evening, that highlights Italian Heritage Month. It's from 6 to 8 p.m. and all are welcome to attend. It's a free event. We'll have art, music, poetry, complimentary cookies, pastries, espresso, and limoncello from the Long Branch Distillery. So if you're available tomorrow night between 6 and 8, it's at the corner of Broadway and Branchport. We'd love to see you there. Dr. Selly mentioned our Columbus Day Parade has been rescheduled for this Sunday, 1 o'clock. Same route, starts at the middle school. And we look forward to seeing all of our residents and community groups. And if you're looking to find out more about what's going on in the city, please join our email blast that goes out every Friday morning. You can sign up through our website at longbranch.org. That's longbranch.org. And I just wish everybody a great week. And Tristan, thanks again for a great job. And thanks for staying on for the meeting. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mayor Pallone. And I would just like to add some thanks to one of our employees who will be leaving us, moving on to a wonderful career move, and that is Rob Ferragina, who is the assistant director, I think is his title, in our economic development office. He's been with us for a few years, has made wonderful contributions to the city, and is now moving on to be a business administrator. And we wish him all the best, and we thank him for his hard work and contributions to Long Branch. It also just, there will be a celebration for the veterans, and this is an event that is being sponsored in Joe Palea Park. And it is this Saturday, and the hours from 11 to 4. It's a community fair, family day, promises to be great fun and a wonderful opportunity to honor our vets who also have done so much for us. So thanks to them. And one last thank you, this goes to Mike Martins, whom you know is our CFO, and to George Jackson, who is our business administrator. Both of them played critical roles in developing a grant application that we were just notified last week or so that Long Branch has been awarded the grant. It truly was a team effort. It is in collaboration with RWJ Barnabas, and it will look at health care throughout our city, particularly with an eye to make sure that there are equitable services and that people know about those services that are being offered. And when there are new funding opportunities, what are the areas that need to be funded? So thanks to both Mr. Jackson and Mr. Martins, and we're looking forward to our partnership with RWJ. In the grant will actually be starting immediately. So promises to bring some good things again for Long Branch. And with that, I will say good night. Tristan, thank you for reading the resolution, and thank you for staying. So with that,
Adjournment.
I think I need, I'm sorry, Lou, did
Adjournment.
Okay, yep, I know. So I need a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second,
Okay, thank you, everyone, and have a good evening.
good night.
Good night.